Hey guys, it's Skylin,
And Michaela.
and welcome back to the Hologramoires podcast.
So today we are going to be talking about the first 20 chapters of Rebel Witch, the second book
Oh,
to Heartless
mm-hmm.
Hunter.
Oh
It is
my
so
God.
good so far.
It is
All I will
amazing.
say before we get into it is that Rune and Gideon are really pissing me off.
Oh yes,
They
they
are
are
pissing
making
me
me
off
so
so
mad.
much. And then we are going to be talking about the most haunted places from our home states,
Yes,
which, as we had said in the last video, mine is New Hampshire.
and mine is Iowa.
So let's go ahead and get right into the book because there's
Woo.
a lot to unpack in the first
There's
20
so
chapters.
much. There's so much. Okay, I want to say it starts off like I have my book tabbed. Finally, on this book, I started to tab it, but I have my book tabbed. It started right away.
Yes. Yeah. I have,
Excuse me.
bless you. I have my book tabbed. They're in like cascading order, so you can't really tell. But there's a lot there, I promise.
Yeah, I have like all these different colors, and so however like that me reading that page or that chapter or that like line makes me feel, that's what I did. I tabbed it so
Yeah.
um you can see there you go. You can see all those colors
Yeah.
that I have labeled. So,
I just did the first 20 chapters with this one.
oh, okay. Nice, nice.
All
I
right.
probably should have done something like that, but
Yeah.
who cares?
Let's
All right, well,
get right into it.
let's find my first one. Okay.
My first one is literally on page 4.
Mine's on page 9,
9.
but okay.
Okay. Okay, yes. So mine is from the first chapter, page
Mhm.
4, from Gideon's point of view. So he is at a party that Rune
Yep.
is at in a different town now. And, okay. It was a beautiful gown, he couldn't deny it. Made by some fancy designer, it likely cost a small fortune. But it wasn't Rune. Gold didn't suit her, and the cut was severe. The plunging V neckline ended a few inches above her belly button in front and at the base of her spine in the back, sending a powerful message. Look at her, she's mine. And then, a little further down, um, with an army, Cressida would wage war against the New Republic. If she won, she would reinstate the reign of witches and more people would die. Gideon couldn't let that happen. So long as Rune was the linchpin in this unholy alliance between Cressida and Soren, he couldn't let her live. Gideon had kill orders, and he was going to see them through, right here, tonight. He'd waited all evening for his chance, standing against the wall of the ballroom, sweating in the stolen uniform. He watched Rune flirting with her betrothed, watched Soren flirt back, touching her with hungry hands, devouring her with haughty eyes. It drove him to the brink. Alex was barely in the ground, and Rune was already engaged to another man. A prince, no less? Is that what she wanted all along? A prince? He was a fool to think he'd ever had a chance. I'm like, bro,
I literally so
the
when
whole
I was
the whole first 20 chapters, it's him being like, I never stood a chance. She wants all these fancy things, and she's like, no, bro, I don't want all that.
no, and the thing
The
is like
entire first 20 chapters, and I'm like, you are so dense. Both of you are so dense.
yes, and like literally like um when you read that or whatever, it was like where did it go? You were reading it. Oh yeah, Gideon had kill orders and he was going to see them through right here tonight. Like, come on, Gideon. You love this. You love this girl. Like,
Right?
figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. So my next one is still in chapter 1 on page 7. It says, mm, I promise not to miss much. Pushing herself onto her toes, she slid her pale arms around the prince's neck and grazed his cheek with her lips, lingering there. When Soren's free hand settled on her hip, admiring its curve, she added, later tonight, when the recital is over and the guests are gone, I have something planned for you. Gideon's heart dropped at those words. As he watched Soren slide his hand up and run his fingers along Rune's jaw, his entire body turned to stone. I'm like, dude, it's very obvious that
You love
you still
her.
have feelings for her. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what you say or what you try
Yeah.
to think, what you try to tell yourself, it is so obvious.
Oh yeah, very obvious. I my first one is on page 9. I guess it is page 9, not page 8, but page 9, start of chapter 2. And it starts in the beginning, and I'll skip a couple sentences, but it goes, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry." Tears burned in Rune's eyes as she fled down the hall past the stock guards in their green uniforms. And then it goes, and she couldn't let the tears spill, not here, not with them all watching. But no matter how fast she ran, she couldn't outrun the song still playing in the ballroom, each note an arrow through her heart. Alex's song. Oh, it made me so sad. I was like,
I had the same page bookmarked and I had underlined Alex's song for that same reason.
I was
I was
like,
like, bro.
oh, oh my God. And then it gets to the very bottom of the page and it goes, "It was why she needed out of that ballroom before she broke down sobbing in the middle of a party to celebrate her upcoming marriage to a prince. We would have been married by now." Talking about Alex.
Yeah.
It broke my heart. I was like,
Yeah. Ugh,
there's so much.
I know.
So my next one's on page 16, right before chapter 3 starts, and it goes, "Gideon pushed back his hat, aimed his gun straight at her. As her gaze met, Rune's heart pounded like a hurricane. Hurricane. I thought you'd forgotten me."
I know.
I thought you'd forgotten me? I literally marked it with a red tab, like, come on, you're not gonna kill her. It's literally the
Right?
second chapter,
I
but I
know.
wonder what was happening. So, and then it goes to the next chapter, and this is like Gideon's thoughts. The eyes of a girl he wanted to forget. Why is she crying? Gideon squeezed the pistol in his hand. "It doesn't matter. I don't care." Yes, you do. You care.
Right?
You care,
It
Gideon.
continues on to talk about like how he hesitated because he looked at her and if he just hadn't looked at her then he would have been able to kill her and yeah.
Exactly. Okay, what do
So
you have next?
my next one I have two, 18 and 19.
Okay.
Gideon remembered her fingers twined through the prince's, how generous she'd been with her kisses, staying close to him at all times, letting him show her off to his friends. She'd never done those things with Gideon. It was a stern reminder of how out of his league she'd always been. How had Gideon ever let himself believe she'd settle for someone like her? Or someone like him? He'd been a sucker from the start. Bro.
No,
Bro.
no. She's in love with you.
It pisses me off because they do, like, so far throughout the whole book, they just do this dance with each other.
Just
And
in circles.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and then my next one is on page 19. I wish Alex never stepped in front of that bullet, she said. It's you who should be dead. I wish it was you. The
I
words.
had that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I had that bookmarked too.
The words were like a rusted knife in his gut. How many times had he wished the same? He remembered it all too well. Cressida demanding Gideon come with her, then lifting her gun and firing when he refused, Alex taking the bullet intended for him.
I had that bookmarked too. Oh my God. I have it marked as like sad because it's like,
Yeah.
like they have been fighting. They for a fact that these two people love each other, and they
Yes.
have been like fighting each other. I have something tagged a little above that on that page. It goes, "I wouldn't have to move on until he discovered the truth. You're the you're a conniving little," and Rune flung the whiskey bottle straight at his head. I was just like,
I know.
"Go Rune, go Rune!" But yeah, I just thought that was a little cute snippet and everything.
Right?
I don't think, yeah.
All right. So both of our next one is page 22.
Mhm.
Mine is he cursed himself for hesitating. He should have just come in, shot her, and left. No thinking, just doing. but he'd always preferred the raw, wild Rune to the one hiding behind a mask of style and poise. If he'd found the latter in this room, a beautiful girl powdering her perfect nose, not a hair out of place, nor a crease in her dress, they probably wouldn't be having this conversation. She'd already be dead. Instead, he'd found this Rune. His Rune. A total mess. The basest part of him wanted to tilt her head back and kiss her until she told him why she was crying. I know.
You're in denial, Gideon.
His
You're in
Rune.
denial.
When
His
he
Rune.
said his Rune,
I was like, he, he.
yeah, it is your Rune.
And then literally, no, he gritted his teeth. This was the opposite of what I want. No, it is not.
Right?
It is not.
Like, just admit it to yourself.
Literally, admit it, please. Please admit it.
If they don't start like actually dating by the end of this book, I'm going to
I'm
throw
going
this
to
thing
flip my
out a
freaking
window.
lid. I am putting this in the fire pit.
The book is going out of a window.
I'm gonna be so mad.
No, it'd be so ridiculous.
That's a thing. Yeah, I know.
They've spent this whole time, so like we're not even that far into it, and they're already denying it. And even the next few chapters, that's all they do.
Is deny it and fight and deny it and fight.
Yes.
But then they also like don't fight, and it's like, come on, guys, you guys are in straight denial right now.
Literally.
But my next one I have is on page 24. I have two. I have one that made me feel sad, and then the one that made me feel angry.
Okay.
So on the top and the bottom of the page.
Okay.
But this is what it says. It says, "But I know the crimson moth, and she is no caged thing. Rune flinched. Stop it. I pity the man who clips her wings. Stop talking. Say goodbye to your freedom, Rune. Shut up." And like when he says, "I pity the man who clips her wings," my heart was just so sad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you say that you pity the man who clips her wings, so you know for a fact that, like, Rune does not want a prince. You're just in denial.
Yes.
Ugh, it just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
And then further down on page 24, this made me mad or, like, shocked or something, but it goes, "The door flew open. The smell of blood and roses filled the room as somebody stepped inside. 'Why, Gideon Sharp,' came a voice that still haunted his nightmares. 'What a pleasant surprise.' Her shadow slid over him, turning his blood to ice. Gideon didn't look up. He knew who he'd find there, a witch with birch white hair. Right, birch? Yeah.
Yeah.
With birch white hair and eyes as cold as a frozen sea. Cressida Roseblood."
Yeah.
It just made me so mad. I was like, no, don't let Gideon get captured. No.
I know. That was also my next one.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like, geez Louise.
I know.
And then so the next one that I have is on page 28, which goes, "Their gaze is locked, and an invisible charge electrified the air. End this. Put me out of my misery." This is in Gideon's point of view.
Oh,
She knew that She knew what Cress had done to him in the past. She knew what Cress would do to him now. "Rune," he stared her down, pleading, "shoot." Like, hey,
I know.
Please shoot me. I don't want to be in Cressida's clutches.
Right.
Like, if it was me and I was Gideon, I think I'd do the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Shoot me. Please, please shoot me.
Yeah. So my next two are 30 and 31.
Okay.
So the first one's on 30.
Okay.
This is Cressida talking. "You made me realize how much I took my sisters for granted, how much I need them. Eowyn, Annalise, and I are so much stronger together, which is why," she bared her teeth in a smile, "I'm going to bring them back." She'd definitely gone mad. "Your sisters are nothing but bones in the ground." He didn't know this for certain. Annalise and Eowyn's bodies went missing in the chaos of the New Dawn. People had assumed the corpses were stolen and defiled, or thrown into the mass graves reserved for witches killed in the Revolution. Oh, Gideon, Cressida laughed. You think I'd let my sisters rot? She shook her head, sending her pale hair scattering like snow. I hid their bodies somewhere safe. For 2 years I've kept them preserved with magic. That's not possible. But this was Cressida Roseblood. He knew exactly what she was capable of. Alright, and then next one, 31. Your entire family is dead, Gideon pointed out. You don't have any kin. Oh, but it turns out I do. He frowned. What? A long-lost sibling, she smiled. Unfortunately, I don't know who or where they are. All the Sibyls in my employ can't see them. Someone's concealed them with an ancient spell for now. A missing Roseblood heir? And she's talking about resurrecting them, which is crazy.
Yeah. Like, I read that so that I had the whole a long lost sibling. Unfortunately, I don't know where they are. I tabbed that as well, and I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, who is it? And then I was thinking, and like, this is like a theory, this is a theory. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, and I was like, well, Rune was told her parents died at sea. She never knew
Right.
them. And Nan, like, what do you call it? Nan wasn't actually related to Rune.
Right.
Because like when like in Heartless Hunter, it talks about how they looked back into Rune's history, and it says that her parents weren't witches. So why was Rune a witch? So I was
Right.
just like, what if Rune is actually the long lost sibling that's been hidden?
Yeah.
Because even in the first book, Seraphine, like Nan was like, find Seraphine, she'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
Hello.
Right?
So that's my theory. I think Rune is the missing Roseblood heir. I'm not sure, but I have that tapped.
Yeah.
All right. So this is page 32. This is just Cressida talking to Gideon and everything.
Yeah.
And it goes, Gideon's entire body tense against her closeness, her spell holding him fast. And in order to trust you, I need to ensure you're mine. She traced her casting knife softly over the exposed collarbones. Mine alone. And I'm like, you creepy little creep.
Yes.
Ugh. And then it's like halfway down the page, it goes, that Gideon had no choice but to submit to her. The lives of those he loved were in her hands. You can't escape me, she said. Even when we were apart, I've haunted your every step, prowled your every dream, haven't I? It made me so mad and like sad,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, you
Yeah.
evil witch.
Mm-hmm.
She's
No,
actually a witch, but you
literally.
evil witch.
Literally.
Ugh. But yeah, that's what I have. And then, on page 33, you have anything on there?
No.
It just talks about how, like, she activated, like, his scar and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was, like, basically, like, painful to Gideon, like, lightning, scorching hot, bright white, as if she was branding him all over again. Only this time, there was no red-hot iron pulled from the fire and held to his skin. No burning flesh. And it just made me so mad.
Yeah. Me too.
Next one is page 47, but it's just talking about it and everything. So Rune decides to go back, and I felt so excited when Rune was like, I have to do something, because she was like hearing Gideon like scream, and
Right? Yeah.
and she like gets back or whatever, and then she convinces what do you call it?
I don't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Soren, the prince, convinces Soren to give his army to Cressida, and then she runs back. And so, like, when, like, Gideon's, like, listening to Ava, and then he was like, Cressida's back already, and then he looks up and it's actually Rune. I'm like,
Yeah.
go get your
Right.
man. But, yeah. After that, I don't have anything really until page 51, where I'm just like, you're dead.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Because mine's
So it
61.
goes, okay. So it goes, her fingertips brushed metal. Hope flared as her hand gripped the pistol. One shot. Make it count. Rune lifted the gun and fired. And then it goes into chapter 8, page 51. The bang rang. The bang. Yeah. Sorry. The bang rang in her ears. Gideon's hands loosened from around her throat as he stumbled back, staring in horror. Behind him, Ava dropped to the floor, dead from the bullet in her brain. Rune just shot Ava.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I know, right?
I was like, no way. And then it just like starts talking about when they're hiding and Cressida's coming back with the guards and stuff.
Yeah.
And like she ran out of blood because she used her Ghost Walker
Yeah.
on Gideon, so she had no more blood. And Gideon was like, use mine. Like, how many times has Gideon been like, use mine?
Right?
And so I was just like, mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah.
Alright, so my next one is on 61.
Okay.
Worse than her lips were the bruises on her neck. They weren't bruises from Gideon's hands. Those were from a mouth. Soren's mouth. Gideon's jaw clenched. He glanced from her to the prince's balcony overhead. Do you stay in his bedroom often? Rune studied the same balcony. I don't see how that's any of your concern. She was right. He couldn't care less whose bed she kept warm at night. Gideon was here to pay back a debt, nothing more. If he were delivering her straight into another man's arms, so be it. She meant nothing to him, just as he meant nothing to her. So why couldn't he keep his stupid mouth shut? Boy, clearly you two mean something to each other.
Yes. Like, hello, stop being so dense.
Yes, both of them.
Ugh.
Makes me
Like,
so angry.
Yes, it makes me so angry because we have been, I want to say watching, but we have been like reading, and they have been time and time again. It's like this whole battle of like Gideon being like, woe is me, I'm poor, Rune's
Right.
not. And then it's, oh, woe is me, I'm the captain and I love Rune, but I'm too stubborn to see it.
Right?
Ugh.
I
Makes me so
know.
mad.
Same.
Page 70, going into chapter 11. It goes, Rune, Seraphine's hand grips her shoulders. Promise me you'll run. Okay, she said. I promise I'll run. As soon as I complete one last mission. I was just like, Rune, she's telling you to run. Run away.
Yeah.
Ignore it. Like, and I think it's because, and again, going back to my theory, I think it's because Seraphine knows that Rune is the last Roseblood heir.
Yeah.
Like, and then for her to be like, after one last mission, like, what is your mission gonna be, girl?
Right?
Like, hello, Cressida caught you. She's like, I know what you did.
Yeah.
You can't fool me. But, yeah. I think it's just so weird, like, going back again, like, the author knows how to keep you.
Yeah, keep you going, keep you reading.
Yes, keep you reading, because literally I think I have, like, it's like page after page after page and stuff. And, like, I was reading this at work, and one of my coworkers was like, do you page every page that you read? Or do you tab every page that you read? And I was like, back off.
You're like, no, but also yes.
No and yes, because there's only a couple of pages that I didn't tab anyway. But this is page 77. It goes, Rune was inside wearing white lace. Gideon didn't have time to pull his gun on her because she already had one of her own. It was aimed straight at his forehead. And I was like,
yeah,
go Rune.
Right?
Go Rune. Which I was so confused because I honestly thought Rune was going to run away. Right away. But she didn't, so I was just like, weird.
Yeah. Okay. My next one is on 79.
Okay.
And it's right at the beginning of chapter 13, Gideon's point of view. A temporary truce, she amended. If you help me, I'll break off my engagement to Soren, nullifying his alliance with Cressida. That's what you want, right? It's why you came to kill me? She snagged a hook in his chest and was reeling him in. Because yes, that was why he came to kill her. Why would you break off your engagement? She glanced away. You were right. I don't want to be his wife. The real Rune would never admit to Gideon being right. Was she lying? 2 nights ago, she was fully committed to her role in Cressida's alliance. Clearly, she had some surprise up her sleeve. He studied her wary. What kind of help do you want from me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I read this. So like when I was like reading this, because I was in denial, right? I
Yeah,
was like, maybe this is Seraphine, like disguised as Rune so that like Rune could get away.
right.
Like da 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 da. And so like I just didn't know if this was actually Rune because again when it said uh the real Rune would never admit to Gideon being right, was she lying? I was just like, I don't know, maybe it isn't. But then going back from book 1 to book 2, Rune has always been, honestly, always been honest when talking to Gideon. She's
Yeah,
always basically told the truth to him.
yeah,
So I'm just like,
100%.
she never lies unless she's hiding her,
Yeah.
identity.
Page 81. Gideon couldn't trust her, not ever. But once they were on the island, he wouldn't have to. It wouldn't matter if Rune was lying to him. She can't betray me if I betray her first. Gideon knew what he had to do. He would accept Rune's terms. He'd smuggle her into the New Republic, and the moment they made port, he'd arrest her himself. Dude,
Like, she's gonna die.
yeah,
And, like, you're already, like, labeled as a traitor and stuff because you
yeah,
couldn't kill her and everything. And I'm like, and I don't know what's happening back uh, there. Like, I don't
yeah,
know what's happening, but I'm just like, come on. Like, the New Republic, like, we know that the good commander was killed by Cressida.
yeah,
So who I assumed Gideon was going to replace him
yeah,
and everything, but I don't know because Harrow is being like, I don't trust you, blah, blah, blah. You aren't, like a captain no more or something like that.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
ugh. Mine's on page 83. Again, Rune's being honest and goes, Rune wins, probably realizing how loud she's spoken. She glanced at the curtain hiding them from the rest of the shop. I thought she was Verity. She said quietly, I thought she was my friend. I didn't know. Like,
yeah,
Rune has been telling Gideon the truth, has been openly being like, I didn't know she was Cressida. I thought she was
yeah,
my friend Verity. You
yeah.
didn't believe me. You sent me to the Bloodguard. Like, I actually loved you, blah, 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 blah. And Gideon's just like, you're fooling me. You're fooling me.
I
You work
know.
for Cressida. You
It
did this for
pisses me
Cressida.
off so much because Rune isn't willingly working with Cressida. Like, yes, she is willingly working with
Mm-hmm.
Cressida, but because it is in her best interest to do so.
It is in her best interest because if she stayed at the New Republic, she would have been dead.
Yes, she would have been dead.
They would have killed her right away.
Yeah,
And the thing is like, also Seraphine's there. Seraphine was like, you, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is like, in my head, is like, Seraphine knew Seraphine had to have known. I mean, it says that she knew that
yeah,
Cressida was Verity or whatever. But it's like Seraphine, I don't know how old Seraphine is, honestly. I thought she was around Rune's age, in my opinion, but I guess she's older.
I was gonna say she's probably older because she knew her grandmother.
That is true. That is true. But like the way Seraphine was like instantly turned and was like, I'll teach you. Like she
Yeah,
literally became the next Nan for
yeah,
Rune. So I'm just like, come on.
yeah,
Like that's why Rune's there. Because
yeah.
she knows that she's better there than dead
Mm-hmm.
in the New
Yeah.
Republic. My next one's 97.
Okay.
So, all right. It goes, suddenly Gideon stepped between them, blocking Rune from the officer's gaze. Grabbing the shirt he discarded a few minutes ago, he gently pulled it down over her head. Startled, Rune pushed her arms through the sleeves as the hem fell to the tops of her thighs, covering everything but her legs. And I tabbed the screen because I was like, Gideon, you jumped into this husband role.
Right?
You
Yeah.
you jumped into this husband role.
Yes.
Like, hello.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's all I had on that page, so.
Okay. My next one is 98. The room seemed to have shrunk since they first entered it. Still facing the door, Gideon heaved a sigh. Rune stared at his bare back, unable to stop her eyes from tracing the corded muscles in his shoulders and arms. "Thank you," she whispered. Under any other circumstances, he turned to look at her, his gaze dropping to his massive shirt hanging off her small frame. I would have thrown him out. Unable to find her voice, Rune simply nodded. The foot of space between them felt like a sliver as they stood half-dressed in front of each other. She tried to hold his gaze and failed, her eyes dropping to take him in. She heard the breath he let loose, as if they'd unknowingly been playing a game of who can hold off the longest, and now Rune had lost. Gideon could let himself lose too. His eyes trailed down her form as he allowed himself to look at her the way she was looking at him. I'm like, y'all, just admit it to each other, please.
I know. I'm like, please, like, Gideon, stop holding this grudge because
Yes.
this is such a stupid, stupid, stupid grudge.
Yes.
I forgot that was on this page and everything.
Mine is the entire page of 101. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Just the whole page.
The whole page. Let's go.
The whole thing. It would burn the weakness out of him. The salt wind struck his cheeks as he thought back to the cabin, to that officer drinking in the sight of Rune's nearly naked form. Despite the cold air, the rage it ignited still simmered inside him. After everything Rune had put him through, his first instinct was to protect her. She was like a magnet sending the arrows on his moral compass spinning, making him forget who he was and everything he'd committed himself to. But it was worse than that. As he'd unlaced her dress, Gideon tried not to admire the swoop of her shoulder blades or the ridges of her spine. He tried to ignore the urge to touch her porcelain-smooth skin, to slide the dress off her shoulders, down to her arms, to let the whole thing drop to the floor. Gideon clenched his hands into fists. No. He wouldn't fall prey to her again. He needed to be impenetrable if he was going to stay ahead of her. He needed to keep his distance. The further apart they were, the clearer his head got. And the clearer his head, the better he could focus on his plan. How was he supposed to keep his distance in that tiny bed? The thought of it, of lying next to her, made Gideon feel things he didn't want to feel.
The things he tried so hard to forget.
Was the last thing?
Yeah.
Okay. He scrubbed his hands over his cold face. Mercy, what a mess he was in. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, bro,
Like,
if you are thinking about her this way, and you can't stop thinking about her this way, then clearly you have feelings for her. You were just too stubborn to admit it.
And like, he like leaves and he's like needs to clear his head or whatever. And on page 102 it says, "There's a spy on the Arcadia." Gideon remembered Harrow's telegram. "The commander no longer believes you're the best man for this job. He's sending someone more qualified to complete it." So, and then it continues and stuff on how he's like, thinking about Harrow and all this stuff together. And then at the end of the page it goes, Gideon needed to stop that from happening at all costs. And Rune, his chest nodded. What if the spy had already found her?
Yeah.
So he's like, no, I need to make sure she doesn't get caught by the spy and murdered.
Right.
But he doesn't like her no more.
I know.
Denial, boy, denial.
It's like, if you didn't, then why would you be feeling that way or thinking those things?
Yeah. And it's like, in my head, I'm like, denial is a river in Egypt. Yeah, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on.
Yeah. Alright. So, my next one is on page 107.
Okay.
Rune glanced away. Had she feigned feelings for Gideon at first? Yes. Had she tried to seduce him to obtain valuable intel? Of course. It was the only way to rescue Seraphine. But at some point, she'd stopped pretending. At some point, the lie became real. Gideon had no reason to believe Rune's feelings had been sincere, so it shouldn't have surprised her that he believed she was in love with Alex. She was still wearing his brother's engagement ring after all. There's no point explaining it to him. He'd never believe her. Even if he did, it wouldn't change anything. She was a witch. Nothing Rune did could ever change his mind. Her inherent, unalterable essence revolted him. She finished her wine in one gulp. Both of them. They are both thinking the same thing.
And that's the thing, it's like, why can't you just admit it?
Yeah.
Like, talk about it. Like, you know that you guys can't be together. So just be like, they need to have that conversation and be like, I like you, and you betrayed me, and I like you, and you betrayed me, and now my heart's broken, but we love each other, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, when is this gonna happen? Please, please.
Right?
Like I said enemies need to become lovers.
Like I said before, if they don't end up together by the end of this, book out the window.
Burning the book. I'm burning the book.
My next one is on page 110. You're a captain. Surely you can make them. A disgraced captain. You outrank every Bloodguard officer waiting in every New Republic port. Outrank them, perhaps, but I can't refuse to let them search you. No? She leaned in, holding his gaze, keeping her voice low. If I were truly your wife, you would let their filthy hands strip me naked while their gazes wolfed me down? The look that crossed his face was primal, raw, like she'd let a prowling animal escape inside him. Of course not, he said, wrangling it. I never let them strip a girl I loved and search her body for scars. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about you. His eyes had gone cold as the sea. You're not a girl, you're a witch. The words stung worse than a slap. Rune looked away to hide the hurt. I was like, bro.
Yeah. I forgot that I was on this page. I'm going to tab it real quick.
Bro.
Makes me feel
You're not
sad.
a girl, you're a witch.
Ugh.
Like, what?
Like, why is he in such denial? Like, why is he being so bitter and rude?
Literally.
Like, it just makes me so mad.
Same.
So mine's on page 115. I'll go into a couple of sentences before, but it says, is this how you'd behave with a real husband? She looked up at him through her lashes. I suppose that would depend on the husband. Like, you know for a fact she's talking about him. You know for a fact she's talking about him. Like, she would 100% act like that with Gideon. You know for a fact. I'm just like, get it, Rune. Get it, Rune.
Mine is 122.
Okay, go ahead.
What was he doing? Helping her undress, like he would if she were his actual wife, so he could put her to bed. He shot to his feet and stepped back. Snap out of it. This was Rune, the Crimson Moth, the witch who was plotting to betray him as certainly as he was plotting to betray her. He reached for the door. I'll get you some water. And food, said Rune, flopping back down. I'm starving. Not him taking care of her after she got too drunk at dinner and putting her to bed and, like, going to get food and water for her.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, he was like, oh, if this was my actual real inebriated wife, like, I'm gonna go and, like, I'd take care of her. I would undress her, this, that, the other. But then he's like, what am I doing? I'm insane.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go and, like, clear my head again and again and again.
Right?
It's like, no, just be like, please, I love you.
Yeah.
Please. Ugh.
Okay. I have one more, and it goes into page 123.
Okay.
His gaze slid down her pale legs, snagging on the silvery scars etched into her calf. Drawn like a magnet, he set down the water he'd brought and sat on the small bed's edge. The scars formed a pattern of moths in flight. The delicate things started at the base of her ankle and floated up her calf, stopping below the back of her knee. He wanted to hate them, but he didn't. Instead, he had the strangest urge to take her legs in his hand and trace the silver lines, memorize them with his fingers, or his mouth. Bro.
I have that tapped. I have it tapped.
Gideon shut his eyes. What is wrong with me? This girl had betrayed him in the worst way, and she'd betray him again. He'd be a fool to think she wouldn't. And she's still wearing Alex's ring. Guilt stabbed him.
Like, and the thing is, it's okay. So, the whole, and she's still wearing Alex's ring, and Alex's ring, and Alex's ring, and Alex's ring.
Yes.
It's like, in my opinion, if I was Shroon, I'm in love with Gideon, but I also love Alex, or loved Alex, you know? Like, you can love people, but not, like, be in love with them.
Right.
And if someone like that...
Which, it's very obvious that that's how she was. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, she agreed to marry him, but it was more out of convenience. It was to get her somewhere safe. Yes, she didn't really want to go, but she realized that that was probably the best option for her, and that's why she agreed to it.
Yeah, and when she was like this, she's like, I didn't actually get it, you know, let this love grow. It could have been something.
Yeah.
I just didn't give it time. This and the other. And she's like, I love Alex, but I'm not in love with Alex.
Yeah.
And, like, if it was me and I was Rune and Alex died, like, you know, I gotta, you know, experience what she experienced, I would wear his ring too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, a really close friend of mine, a really close person that I cared about, that cared about me, and me specifically, like, I'm going to keep something that they gave me right before they died.
Definitely.
Ugh. But, okay, so mine's on page 25. And it goes, wake up. I'm not going to read the little bit before it. But it goes, wake up. Rune's head pounded. Her mouth was dry, and the room was rocking. Rune, wake up. She opened her eyes, squinting in the darkness. Are you all right? So, the beginning of this chapter, she's having a dream. And she's having a dream about Gideon. And I'm like, only people who love people have dreams about them.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, my next one is on page 137.
Okay.
Sharp, Abby interrupted. We're moving inside where it's warmer. Fancy a game of cards? Always, said Gideon, letting Rune go. Just like that. He moved to Abby like metal to a magnet. The cold rushed in, making Rune hug herself. Ash and the others were already filing into the stairwell. As Abby turned Gideon in the direction of her friends, Gideon smiled at something she said, forgetting Rune. They looked so natural together. It was a reminder. Gideon needed Abby and her friends to believe his fake marriage was real. What better way to do that than to flirt with his fake wife while teaching her how to handle a gun? Is he always like that? Rune dragged her eyes away from Gideon and Abby to find the golden-haired William standing beside her, frowning at the pair. What do you mean? Attentive to other women at your expense? What? Oh, no, it's not like that. He and Abby are old friends. William said nothing, only studied Rune with something like pity.
Yeah. I'm like, because, like, you know, like, you find out, like, in Gideon's point of view and everything, that Abby and Rune that Abby and Gideon aren't actually just friends. They were, like...
Right.
Like,
they had dated for a little while.
Yeah, dated on and off for a little while and everything. And, like, going into that, actually, on page 36, when Gideon's, like, teaching her how to shoot a gun, he's, like, in her ear, and it goes, when she finally relaxed, his rough cheek brushed against hers. What were you dreaming about last night? His voice was low, near her ear, when you called out for me. You called out for Gideon, and Gideon was there.
Right?
Okay.
That's the last one that I have for these 20 chapters.
Same. That's the last one I have. Oh my god.
All I'm going to say, once again, if they don't end up together by the end of it, or at least admit to each other that they like each other, at least admit it, straight out the window.
Straight to jail.
Straight out the window. Yeah. No,
straight
literally.
to jail.
I will be sending a strongly worded email to the author and be like, what are you doing?
Yes. Like, this book has been holding me by the throat It is
I was
such a
going to
good
say the
book.
hold that this book has on me, that both of these books have had on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you know how you, like, sometimes you read the first book and the second one is good, but it's not quite as, no, this one, it's great.
It's good.
It's just as good as the first
And
one.
it started off right when the book started. Right
Yeah.
when the book started, I was like,
Yes.
oh my God. And I just kept reading, and I, like, tabs, like, I have a feeling, I have, like, a different type of tab or whatever. Like, same colors, but, like, they just look different. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to tab those too. Use those tabs
Yeah.
because this book is so good. And they're, like, roughly the same size, because I
Yeah.
have both the books here. But they're roughly the same size, as you can tell. This one's a little thicker because this one just has more
Yeah.
chapters and more pages,
Yeah.
where this one was centered. But this author, like, if she put this into one book, it'd be really, really good. And did, like,
Yeah.
part one, part two. But it being two books is even better
Yeah.
because I feel like The Heartless Hunter and then Rebel Witch is really good at, like,
Mm-hmm.
describing the
The events of both of
happening in the
those
book.
books. Yeah.
Ugh, but yeah. So my one theory is Rune is the missing Roseblood heir.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling. I don't know. We'll see. That's my
Yeah.
theory.
Also, I feel like William is a little too friendly.
Yeah,
I
I feel
know
like
that
he might.
I know that Gideon thinks that Abby is a spy, but
Mhm.
William is a little too friendly with Rune.
I think, honestly, I think Abby is the spy, but I think maybe William is going to, like, take advantage of Rune. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to be like, your husband, you know, he
Your husband isn't
was,
paying you enough attention. He's off with another girl. Yeah.
yeah,
He just he's just too friendly. I don't
mhm.
know I don't really have a theory on what's going to happen, but he's just too friendly and I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither.
All right. So on to the most haunted place in my hometown of New Hampshire, or home state of New Hampshire.
Mhm.
So the most haunted place is nicknamed Blood Cemetery, but it is actually Pine Hill Cemetery. The Pine Hill Cemetery in Hollis, New Hampshire is rumored by many to be an area that is overwhelmed with paranormal activity. In this plot of land that holds nearly 300 different individuals in death, there are several accounts of ghostly apparitions, sounds, and unexplained events that contribute to the widely held belief that the area is haunted by beings on the spiritual plane. Originally donated by a man by the name of Benjamin Parker Jr. in the year of 1769, Pine Hill Cemetery sits along the side of Pine Hill Road in the city of Hollis, New Hampshire. Several pass by the cemetery, not knowing the secrets that it hides. Here, I will take you on a tour down History Lane into the Pine Hill Cemetery, or as many call, Blood Cemetery. When Benjamin Parker Jr. donated the land that is now Pine Hill Cemetery in 1769, it was because of the fact that he had to sell his farm. The founding families of the area called for a need to have a local establishment where the dead could be laid to peace. This is part of the reason this man donated the land. Many of the people in the city at the time were laid to rest in this cemetery. There were several markers that have simply not survived the test of time and weatherization. The area where these markers were placed now stands bare, with no indication of who resides there in death. One particular individual by the name of Abel Blood is buried at the Pine Hill Cemetery. It is believed by many that this particular spirit is not at rest and haunts the cemetery. This is how the dubbed name Blood Cemetery came to be. This man and his wife, by the name of Betsy, are buried side by side here. Several have accounted that the Blood family was murdered and that the spirit of Abel Blood roams the ground trying to find his way home or possibly to locate his beloved wife. This individual appears to be the one who served his community and his church well in Christian faith. It does not appear that he is out to harm, but that rather he is lost. Several different relatives that belong to the Blood family reside in the Pine Hill Cemetery. Unfortunately, several of the markers no longer attest to the fact that they have simply withered away over time. However, Those from very small children to those that are senior status and age remain in the cemetery. According to the documented dates of death, there does not appear to be any indication that a group of family members, or even two of them, were murdered. It seems as if everyone passed away in their own time, and in one natural way or another. However, several hold the belief that able blood definitely roams the grounds in spiritual form. There is another account of a haunting that occurs at the cemetery. This one is actually on the road that runs beside the cemetery and involves a young boy. It is believed that this child and his entire family were murdered in the area of the 1800s. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information concerning this particular family, but it is believed that they may have been murdered in their home somewhere close to Pine Hill Road and the cemetery itself, and then buried in the cemetery. Several people have claimed that they have seen this young child attempting to flag down vehicles for assistance, and when they stop, the boy simply vanishes. Several individuals have visited the Pine Hill Cemetery on ghost hunting trips. Many are professional paranormal experts, and others are simply those interested in catching the paranormal on film and documenting any evidence supporting the hauntings of the Blood family, and even the young boy who seems to be urging others to pass by the cemetery for assistance. Unique ghost pictures have turned up, shadows, orbs, and other anomalies. In addition to this, strange sounds and static have been picked up on digital audio recorders. Unusual events and unexplained phenomenon, such as unexplained tree movements with no wind, have been documented in what seems to be ghost videos. If you are seeking haunted places to go, the Pine Hill Cemetery or Blood Hill Cemetery in Hollis, New Hampshire has a lot to offer. Right?
That's cool. Like being like a cemetery and like not having all of
Yeah.
the like details, but there's rumor that there was murders and stuff. That's actually
Right.
really cool.
I
That's
know
really
like
really
a
cool.
lot of places. So the website that I found it on is
Mm-hmm.
Ghosts of New England, and
Mm.
there's a lot of places in New England that have a lot of history, like Salem, Massachusetts, of course.
I want to go there so
Guess who's going there in 2 weeks?
bad. So my most haunted place in Iowa is the Villisca Axe Murder House, which Sam and Colby investigated. Sorry, I love Sam and Colby. But anyway, so it says is infamous not only for the horrific crime that occurred there in 1912, but also for the intense paranormal activity reported ever since. Here is a deep dive into the chilling history and why it is considered Iowa's most haunted location. The crime of June 9th, 1912. On a quiet summer night, the Moore family, Josiah, Sarah, and the 4 children, along with 2 young guests, Ina and Lena Stillinger, were brutally murdered in their sleep. The killer used an axe, striking each victim multiple times, often with the blunt end. Ooh. All victims were found in their beds, faces covered post-mortem with cloth. Josiah Moore received the most blows, so violent that the gouge marks were left in the ceiling above bed A. Lena Stillinger's body was moved, suggesting that she may have awakened during the attack. The killer left the axe in the guest room and vanished without a trace. That is insane.
Yeah.
Murdering everybody in the house, which is very,
Right?
very sad, and then leaving the murder weapon. I mean, this is
Yeah.
back in 1912, so there was like no like DNA stuff, nothing. But oof.
Well, there was. It just wasn't as good.
Yes, yes. But it says, despite numerous suspects and investigations, the case remains unsolved, adding to the house's eerie mystique. It says, since the 1990s, when the Lynn family restored and opened the house to the public, hundreds of visitors have reported disturbing experiences. Common reports have been disembodied voices and electronic voice phenomenon (EVPs), some mimicking the names of the victims, unexplained footsteps, doors opening on their own, and objects moving without cause. Feeling of dread, sadness, or rage even during daytime tours. Ghostly fogs and orbs captured by photos, and Children see playing and unseen entities in the parlor bedroom where the Stillinger girls died. That is so sad.
Yeah.
One particular chilling incident involved a man who brought a hunting knife into the house. After provoking the spirits, he blacked out and woke up in a hospital with a self-inflicted wound he didn't remember causing.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe it's the dad.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe being like, not my family.
Right.
But it says there's been a bunch of media attention investigations, like the Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and Paranormal Lockdown. And then these teams documented intense supernatural encounters, including EVPs, shadow figures, and unexplained physical sensations. They said their findings have cemented the house's reputation as the most haunted place in America, not just Iowa.
Wow.
Go Iowa. But then it says you can go visit the house and everything, but the reason why it's considered is a brutal unsolved mass murder, intense and constant paranormal activity, documented evidence from seasoned investigators, and emotional resonance from the victim's tragic story. But just like going into it, like I found a website and it's called US Ghost Adventures, but yeah, because it's like the perfect murder. The Moore's neighbor was the first to notice something was off that morning. The family had yet to awaken. The children hadn't left for school, and the animals hadn't been tended to. Concerned, she knocked on the door repeatedly in an attempt to make contact. When it didn't work, she contacted Josiah's brother. Upon his arrival, he walked into a gruesome scene he would never forget. That is so sad.
Yeah.
Like knowing, like if you have ever been to Iowa, you know Iowa's very small. Like everybody knows everybody if you're in that town and everything, and everybody takes cares of everybody else. And it's just so sad to like be like, hey, I'm concerned because I didn't see the kids, I didn't see you tending to the animals, and so I went and got your brother, and then the brother had to go and just find you. It's so sad. It says, to this day, the murder remains unsolved and holds more questions than answers. Did Moore's former boss, F. Jones, hire a hitman? It was known that Jones was angry that Moore had left his company and taken a luxury John Deere contract with him. And funny thing is in Waterloo, Iowa, this is, Iowa for a fact. In Waterloo, Iowa, actually, John Deere bought a tractor company, and that is what started John Deere and made John Deere actually really, really big, like well known.
Okay.
So it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Then there's also another like theory that maybe it was a schizophrenic traveling minister. Reverend George Kelly is said to have confessed to the murders, claiming a demon made him do it. He was charged 5 years later, but 2 separate juries believe he'd been coerced by police, and Kelly was never convicted. I mean, if you admit to it, like...
Yeah, but plenty of people have admitted to things for different reasons, even though they didn't do it.
Yeah, because then it does keep saying it back in 2017, so... This is like crazy. It says, at the point, the FBI believed that the slayings were the work of a traveling serial killer, as similar murders had occurred in other states. In 2017, a journalist named Bill James theorized that the murders could have been a work of a German immigrant, drifter, and logger, Paul Mueller. Mueller was believed to have committed similar murders targeting young girls and covering mirrors following the crime. However, a lack of evidence would prevent this theory from being tested. In the end, no one was charged for the Villisca Axe murders. But to this day, you can actually go and visit, and they have like this huge sign up, and like this would be like a place that would be amazing to go to and like actually investigate and everything. And these pictures, like the picture of, I think this is the room where one of the Stillinger girls was. and stuff where she was found and everything. And just looking at it, like, the way, so all the houses and stuff are usually restored, and like they always use the same foundation in Iowa and stuff. So looking at like
Right.
the windowsills and like just the way like the stuff is set up, I'm just like, this looks like my grandma's house.
Pretty
Like
point.
the window frames look like what my grandma's house and like her doors and stuff looks like.
Right.
But ugh. But yeah, that's the story about the Villisca Axe Murder House in Villisca, Iowa.
Interesting.
Very interesting. All right. Well, that's everything that I have.
And that is everything that I have for today. Next time, we will be talking about the next 20 chapters of Rebel
Yep.
Witch. We will see you guys next time.
Yep.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.